Please remain standing for the invocation given by Chaplain Knox.
Please join me in prayer. Almighty God, in all the earth there is no greater nation than that of the United States of America. Your blessing has caused her to be that city shining on a hill, bringing the truth of freedom and liberty to the world. But it has not been without cost. The price has been paid in blood for the cause of independence and the freedoms we all so often take for granted. We are here to celebrate with these airmen who today graduate and move on into the United States Air Force. Although we are the youngest of the military branches, we ask you to create in them an infinite desire to walk in the hallowed, bloody footprints of Valley Forge, the blood-soaked sands of Normandy's beaches, or in the bullet-riddled skies over Europe, on the jungle trails of Tarawa and Okinawa, down the frozen footpaths of Korea, and across the danger-ridden rice paddies of Vietnam, from Afghanistan to Iraq, and wherever else men and women stand ready to lay down their lives to save ours. Lord, give these graduates the courage to defend, the will to win, and the stamina to stay the course. It is only through your power that we can ever desire to be great. We ask you to bless these airmen, as well as every man and woman today, both military and dependent, active duty and civilian, whose life has been lived as an investment in the United States Air Force, so that we may continue to fly, fight, and win, assist these newly graduated airmen in carrying the torch that is being passed on to them with a sense of integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. We ask this in your most holy and divine name. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Knox. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's Basic Military Training Graduation Parade. We would like to introduce our distinguished guests, beginning with the host for today's ceremony. The Commander, Air Force Basic Military Training, Joint Base San Antonio, Lackland, Texas, Colonel Jason Carruthers, accompanied by his wife, Major Heather Carruthers. The Superintendent, Air Force Basic Military Training, Chief Master Sergeant Hope Skiditsky. From the 37th Training Wing, the Commander, 37th Training Wing, Joint Base San Antonio, Lackland, Texas, Colonel Roy Collins. Also in attendance with us today, the Commander, 57th Wing, Nellis Air Force Base, Nevada, Brigadier General Jeannie Leggett. The Command Chief Master Sergeant, 57th Wing Chief Sean Drinkard. Brigadier General Sandra Gregory, United States Air Force, retired. The Assistant Auditor General, Operations and Support Directorate, Air Force Audit Agency, Joint Base San Antonio, Randolph, Texas, Ms. Terry Dilley. The Command Chief Master Sergeant, Air Force Recruiting Service, Joint Base San Antonio, Randolph, Texas, Chief Brian LaBounty, accompanied by his wife, Mandy. The Command Chief Master Sergeant, 155th Air Refueling Wing, Lincoln Municipal Airport, Nebraska, Chief Jeff Horn, accompanied by his wife, Linda. We would also like to introduce a distinguished group in attendance with us today. Would the Inter-American Air Force Academy guests please stand to be recognized? These 140 students from 14 of our Latin American partner nations are attending an array of courses that directly bolster our global partnerships, and we are privileged to have them in attendance with us today. Now, although time does not permit us to introduce all of our distinguished guests, the 737 Training Group is proud to welcome each of you. We hope you enjoyed today's ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, Colonel Carruthers and Chief Master Sergeant Skibitsky will make a special awards presentation.
Halt! Halt!
737 Training Group, United States Air Force, Joint Base San Antonio, Lackland, Texas. Subject, Master Military Training Instructor. A Master Military Training Instructor is one who is a total professional in all phases of basic training, is a leader among other instructors, exhibits only the highest characteristics of ethics, morality, and integrity, fully supports the mission, traditions, and esprit de corps of the Air Force basic military training, is the best of the best. The instructors who stand before you today have been awarded the title Master Military Training Instructor in recognition of their superior performance. From the 331st Training Squadron, Master Sergeant Jason Douglas. From the 324th Training Squadron, Master Sergeant Stefan Perryman.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm Colonel Jason Carruthers, Commander of Basic Military Training for the world's greatest Air Force. And I'd be remiss if I didn't take a little bit of time to explain and add on to just what you were able to witness today. Certainly, we're here to celebrate all of this that brought you here today. But this is also a day of celebration for these two terrific senior NCOs. See, because what we just recognized was their achievement, a Master Military Training Instructor designation. What you'll see is this blue campaign rope that they'll wear proudly adorned on that dark blue campaign hat. And it really recognizes and celebrates the attainment of being the top 10% of our military training instructor corps. And so you have to think about that for a moment, because when we talk about our MTIs, you have to understand that we necessarily draw upon the best of our NCOs and senior NCOs across this entire Air Force. These MTIs are the guardians of the gateway of our Air Force, and I assure you they take their responsibility seriously. And I like to think of them as the black belts of our NCO, senior NCO Corps. So that if we're talking about the best of the best, the blue ropes, I tell you what, I take myself back to my Sunday mornings hanging out with my twin brother and think of Kung Fu Theater. And so if the black belts, their Kung Fu is strong, let me tell you who the ninjas are. They're right here. These blue ropes represent excellence defined, and they are the leaders, coaches, and mentors, not only to our MTI Corps, but I assure you across this BMT enterprise, whether or not we're talking flight commanders or certainly knuckleheads like me. The blue ropes are the ones that lead us and show us the right path as we take your treasure and turn them into America's next generation of warrior airmen. It's a big day for them, so please join me in a round of applause.
Present post. Order post. Post.
The airmen who will pass interview today have completed a demanding 7.5-week program that provides Air Force units throughout the world with trained airmen. Part of this training includes the time-proven concepts of military customs and traditions, of which this parade is a vital part. All graduating airmen will also march over the enlisted heroes walk. They will lead the way for the thousands of airmen that will follow, all reflecting on our enlisted heritage, tradition of honor, and our legacy of valor. Our Commander of Airmen is Master Sergeant Jason Douglas, Master Military Training Instructor, 331st Training Squadron. Colonel Carruthers will review today's ceremony.
There. It's cut. Now, the birds, cut.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the national anthem. Thank you. Please be seated.
Sir, the parade is born.
Take your vote. Give your squadron order!
March to command in review.
Now, order, hold. Now, take hold, hold. Now, your squadron, order.
Ladies and gentlemen, the graduating Airmen passing review today represent a portion of the 40,000 recruits who will complete basic military training this year. The 737 training group provides all recruits the essential military training to become motivated members of the enlisted corps of the greatest Air Force of the world. The military training instructors are responsible for the indoctrination, development, and discipline of the airmen. They have dedicated endless hours to ensure all training objectives are met. Today's graduates have proven through academic studies, military training, physical training, and the development of teamwork that they are ready to take their place in the United States Air Force. The flights you will view today are a representation of the enlisted force. Each flight represents an enlisted member of the Air Force who has embodied our core values and contributed to its heritage. As our graduates turn left onto the bomb run to pass and review, they will march over the enlisted heroes walk. The airmen recognized on the pavers have been awarded our nation's highest honors, representing heroic and unselfish actions as members of the United States Air Force in armed conflict, including present-day operations in Afghanistan. They include 7 Medals of Honor, 28 Air Force Crosses, and 190 Silver Stars awarded for bravery during encounters with hostile enemy combatants. These enlisted heroes serve to inspire all airmen to execute their duties courageously and with honor in their service to this great nation. Armed with the knowledge of our past, the airmen will exit the hero's walk by marching over a blue line, signifying their ascension into the greatest air power in the world. Musical support for this morning's ceremony has been provided by the 737th Training Group's Drum and Bugle Corps, Murray Flight from the 321st Training Squadron. Performing today under the direction of Technical Sergeant Douglas Cost, hometown, Penelope, Pennsylvania. These trainees are also basic military training, but have been hand-selected to perform the ceremonies of this type. We would like for you to notice our national, state, and territorial flags as these flags pass in review. Please stand and render the appropriate courtesies for our national flag. Once the flags have passed in review, please be courteous to others and be seated in order to allow all of our guests the opportunity to view the flags as they pass in review. Now passing in review, our Commander of Airmen is Master Sergeant Jason Douglas, Master of Military Training Instructor, 331st Training Squadron, hometown, Altoona, Alabama. From the 321st Training Squadron, the Drum and Bugle Corps, representing Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, number 14, Murray Flight, led by Technical Sergeant Christy Robinson, hometown, Fort Walton Beach, Florida, and Technical Sergeant Ashley Gonzalez, hometown, Washington. Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force Number 3, Pistoling Flight, led by Master Sergeant Michael Powers, hometown, Panama City, Florida. From the 331st Training Squadron representing the Air Force's first female Chief Master Sergeant, Peterson Flight, led by Technical Sergeant Aaron Cole, hometown, Nashville, Tennessee. From the 331st Training Squadron representing Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force Number 13, Finch Flight, led by Technical Sergeant Aisha Jones, hometown, Port of Spain, Trinidad, and Tobago. From the 331st Training Squadron representing the Medal of Honor recipient, Smith Flight, led by Technical Sergeant Ian Ramirez, hometown, Los Angeles, California. From the 322nd Training Squadron representing Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force Number 1, Air Flight, led by Technical Sergeant Jerry Vega, hometown, Chicago, Illinois. The squadron selected as the color guard is from the 319th Training Squadron, led by Master Sergeant Sergio Sonora, hometown, Patterson, California. The flight selected to carry our national, state, and territorial flags are from the 323rd Training Squadron, representing Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force Number 17, Cody Flight, led by Technical Sergeant Jason Evans, hometown, West Parkville, New York, Technical Sergeant George Gaddis, hometown, Brennan, Indiana. The B Squadron Commander is Technical Sergeant Jared Harris, Military Training Instructor, 320th Training Squadron, hometown, Jackson, Mississippi. For the 322nd Training Squadron representing Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force Number 18, Wright Flight, led by Master Sergeant Jeremy McMasters, hometown, Danville, Illinois. From the 322nd Training Squadron representing Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force Number 4, Arms Flight, led by Technical Sergeant Joshua Henze, hometown, Meadville, Texas. From the 322nd Training Squadron representing Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force Number 5, Gaylor Flight, led by Master Sergeant Richard Baker, hometown, Gastonia, North Carolina. From the 320th Training Squadron representing Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force Number 6, McCoy Flight, led by Technical Sergeant Dino Makaric, hometown, Banja Luka, Bosnia. From the 320th Training Squadron representing Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force Number 7, Andrews Flight, led by Technical Sergeant Derek Rude, hometown, Fortuna, California. From the 320th Training Squadron representing Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force Number 8, Harris Flight, led by Technical Sergeant Esther Bass, hometown, Mission Viejo, California. From the 320th Training Squadron representing Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force Number 10, Kingston Flight, led by Technical Sergeant Joseph Marujo, hometown, Los Angeles, California. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the United States Air Force song. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated. Over the last 7.5 weeks, the airmen before you have transformed from civilians into motivated, disciplined warrior airmen with a foundation to serve in the world's greatest Air Force. Once these airmen leave basic military training, they will enter Airman Suite where they will develop their critical thinking skills and further personalize the Air Force's core values. They will continue on to technical training to learn the skills they need to perform in one of over 118 Air Force specialties. They will then move on to serve at one of our 84 Air Force bases around the world or work directly with our sister services. As these airmen move on to technical training, they will continue to focus on adapting to military requirements, achieving occupational proficiency, and learning how to be highly productive members of the Air Force. These men and women will be prepared for increased responsibilities and must ensure they are trained, qualified, and ready to deploy and operate in an expeditionary environment while maintaining home station readiness. Of the hundreds of thousands of American citizens that enter the workforce each year, less than 1% have joined the ranks of the United States military, an even smaller percentage in the United States Air Force. You should be proud of your accomplishments thus far. The airmen before you have reached a milestone in their Air Force journey and will require your continued support to assist them in their future endeavors. These airmen are the future of our Air Force and will pave the way for future generations of airmen as we continue to fly, fight, and win. We would like to take a moment to congratulate all of our Squadron Honor graduates as well as their families. Basic Military Honor graduates distinguish themselves by being ranked in the top 10% of all airmen graduating in their class. The exceptional personal dedication, integrity, service before self, and sustained excellence these airmen displayed throughout basic military training earned them this outstanding distinction. As the airmen march forward for the oath of enlistment, we would like to thank the families and friends who are here in support of these graduating airmen today. Your words of encouragement help motivate these airmen throughout 7.5 weeks of basic military training. On behalf of the United States Air Force and Air Force Basic Military Training, we extend our thanks to the many families and friends of America's airmen for the support of our airmen and the greatest air power the world has ever known.
State flags up!
Colonel Carruthers will now come forward and address our graduated airmen.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know we got an overcast sky and it's misting a little bit, but I tell you what, the sun is shining in the hearts of 683 instances of amazing. What do you think of them today? So let me first start with a couple of thank yous. So let's start with the friends and families that have journeyed all across this United States to celebrate all of this amazing standing right here today. Let me say thank you for sharing the nation's treasure with our Air Force. Thank you for setting into motion a chain of events that make this nation a better version of itself with every single instance of service standing in front of you today. Your sacrifice and your willingness to give them and share them with us. You've invested so much into them, and I assure you that our Air Force is leveraging everything that you've shared with us. Thank you for being here today to celebrate their success, and thank you for sharing them with us. And to our veterans in the audience, if you can, please stand up. So let me start with a thank you for your service, for setting the example. Yours are the shoulders that we stand on. This extension of this long blue line for our Air Force is enabled because of your service. And I assure you, each one of these amazing men and women will look to honor your service, your example, as they continue forward. Thank you so much for giving all that you have to our nation to ensure the freedoms that we're all able to leverage. So one more time, a big applause for our veterans. And to our MTI Corps. So I shared a few words a little bit earlier, but let me just expand upon them. The MTIs are necessarily drawn from the best that our Air Force has. NCOs, senior NCOs, committed to taking the nation's treasure, refining it, and putting it in front of you today in such a glorious fashion. If you ever wondered if they're getting it wrong, I want you to look at this 683 examples of excellence, and I tell you what, let's give it up for our MTIs. All right, and to our graduating airmen. I tell you what I really want to talk about, and I think the weather is perfect for this. It's an uncertain world. It's a world made more dim by a number of things in play. But your service adds light to that dim world. Your service is the example for others to follow. So I congratulate you and welcome you to an elite force. This Air Force has 70 years of heritage of flying farther, flying faster, and doing it first. Welcome to a force that really is the oxygen our joint force breathes and touches the lives of every person in our nation. And I'll give an example of that. So when you think of the airplanes that brought your friends and families here today, when you think of the navigation that allowed them to get to where they were coming, whether or not that's by cell phone, whether or not that's in the nav systems of the plane, or in the taxi cab that brought them here to our gates. We're the ones that provide that. So for our friends and families in the audience, if you didn't know that the Air Force did that for you, you're welcome.
All right.
And so we do that in a number of ways. Certainly, we own the high ground as we demonstrate that in terms of air superiority. We certainly on the cyber side in cyber defense and offense. And then we certainly do that as we own and project global power, global reach, and global vigilance. Yours is a service that gets after it every single day. Whether or not we're talking humanitarian response, domestically or internationally, and we don't have to think far to provide examples of that. Hurricane Irma, Hurricane Harvey that just so amazingly affected our Houston neighbors to the south, and certainly Hurricane Maria that devastated Puerto Rico. Your Air Force was there making a difference every single day. Let's also talk about what we do on the other end of the scale. Yours is a force and yours is a service that provides more certainty in an uncertain world on the high end of the spectrum. We are renowned, respected, and appropriately feared for the lethality that we bring as we exercise the high end of the operational spectrum that we do. And that is putting bombs on target any place, any time that our nation needs us to do that. And I will tell you, when we talk about an uncertain world, you need not look too far to reach headlines that reinforce just that message. Look to the European continent and see that your Air Force is ready and present as we watch a resurgent Russia. Look to the Pacific theater and understand that the Air Force is there, watchful and present, as we surmise what to do or to think about China's thus far peaceful rise. And let's talk about what's going on in North Korea. And you have to understand that your Air Force is a part of a set of options to deal with an increasingly belligerent North Korean regime flouting international norms and standards. See, you're part of a force that believes that we will stand so that others have the right to take a knee. Yours is a force ready, able, and willing to get after it every single day, any place, domestically, but more importantly, internationally. We'll bring humanitarian relief, solace to those that need it. But we will bring strength where needed internationally every single day. In a world made more dim by all the uncertain threats that I raised before you today, understand it's your service that brings light. In an uncertain world, it takes a special kind of courage to say, send me. And each one of you possesses that courage. Congratulations to each of you, and welcome to the world's greatest Air Force. So on that note, I have one question for you. Are you ready to join the world's biggest, baddest, most lethal Air Force the world has ever seen? Ladies and gentlemen, I take that as a resounding yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand. Colonel Carruthers will now administer the oath of enlistment.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
And that I will obey the orders of the President of the United States
and I will obey the orders of the President of the United States
and the orders of the officers appointed over me,
and the orders of the officers appointed over me,
according to the regulations and the Uniform Code of Military Justice.
according to the regulations and the Uniform Code of Military Justice.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Airmen. Well done. Well done. Welcome to the team.
Thank you, Colonel Carruthers. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing as our newest airmen recite the Airman's Creed and remain in place for the departure of our official party. I am an American airman.
I, a warrior,